Okay, folks, we are live. For those listening at home, welcome to the Live from the Sword Coast podcast. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly dungeon master this evening. With us this evening, we have two of our regular players. Jeffrey, you want to do you're the one with the pictures.
Sure. Jeff Ivey. I'm going to be playing Kyle Riley for this session, and that's about all I know about him. He's a thrill seeker and a smuggler.
Okay. And Dave?
My name is Dave. I'll be playing Remington DeVoe. He is, he's a spy. And beyond that, he's got a bit of a survivalist instinct to him that he'll probably be putting to good use trying to get out of the predicament he finds himself in.
Okay. Speaking of the predicament, so for those listening at home, the last session of this particular game, which is a surprise for the players, the recording kind of screwed up, so YouTube did not post it properly. So I would normally say go back and listen to that session, but unfortunately you can't because the recording doesn't exist. Guys, what do you remember about that?
We seem to be trapped in some kind of a weird prison. Possibly a prison of the mind. We have not figured it out yet.
Okay. So, excuse me. To bring us sort of a summary up to where we find ourselves now, you guys at first found yourself on the dock of a cottage at a lake somewhere, no one else around, not a care in the world, a bucket of cold beer at your feet. Then you found yourself first in a old hotel room that seemed to be from the turn of the century. You guys met this bizarre bellhop, and you encountered a huge and kind of deformed killer who killed first, I believe killed you, Kyle, and then you found yourself back on the dock. And then you woke up and found yourself back again in the room, this time with Remington, or Remy. You guys again encountered the bellhop, and you again encountered the creature who... did he kill both of you guys that time? I think so.
The first time, yeah.
Yeah, so then he killed both of you again, and you again found yourself on the dock. I believe it's at that point that you heard a girl's voice say, "Live." You also found handwritten notes on a cocktail napkin in that hotel room. The first one said that you were prisoners, and the second one said, "Live." You came back, the two of you worked together and came up with a plan with the, well, not really help, but the participation of the bellhop, and you managed to down that creature. You then found yourself back on the dock, and you began to remember a bit about yourselves. That's when you, I believe that's when you both recalled some of your abilities, some of your skills. You next found yourself on in a sewer, and dressed as sort of a junkyard 70s kind of like diesel punk knights, complete with suits of armor made from 50s classic cars. You heard the voice of a child calling for help. You made your way down this sewer tunnel, down into down this sort of one sewer pipe full of water, where you encountered a young boy who was asking for help and wanted you to come and hide with him. Remy, you went to look for whatever it was this boy was scared of, and it's around then when this giant kind of spider-looking thing that seemed to be made of engine parts and like an engine block body dropped down, and using your kind of engine-powered sword and your big revolver, you managed to down that thing. unfortunately, when Kyle picked up this boy and tried to help him out, this boy stabbed him to death in the neck with some kind of little stiletto. Remy didn't see this. When Remy went over to try and help him, the boy then killed him. You guys awoke again in that dock. The sense of, every time you came back there, the sense of relief and relaxation was less and less. And then you saw this girl, each of you saw this little girl standing. Well, first, you saw a vision of her in that sewer pipe. And she was there for a moment and then gone. A little white girl with long kind of pigtails, dressed in sort of a school uniform, like a private school uniform. You then saw the girl back at that dock, out standing on the on the water, about 20 meters or so off the dock. That's when the girl told you again told you this time to remember, and she referred to someone named Tutor, and she said, "Do not let Tutor know." That you remember. You guys each had a sort of flashback to each of you dying, and you had an inkling of someone that you cared about who was present when you each died. Kyle, you recall fighting some kind of monstrous, compact car-sized robotic monstrosity, while your little sister was near you, and you were calling for her to go for help, and then there was an explosion, for her to get away. There's an explosion, and you recall dying. That was quite upsetting for you. And Remy, you recall seeing this sort of cloud coming down a corridor, and your pregnant wife was with you. You told her to go on without you, and you walked down towards that cloud with something in your hand that detonated, and you died. That is, the memories of that are no less distinct than what you've been experiencing over the last little while, but they, there's something in you where there is that extra element of verisimilitude. There's the extra element of, yes, this happened. So, then what you next recall is waking up in with this heavy scent of vegetation and fresh earth around you. The sky is high above you, or the sky. Of course, the sky's above you. The sun is high above you, but there are some pools of shadow at the edge of your vision. All around you, there is thick, green, luscious vegetation. There is a small pool of water with a creek running down it. Looking around, you can see that you're in kind of the end of kind of a box canyon. The high, cracked gray stone around you leads into sort of a corridor, or I guess a canyon that leads down away from this open area. And as you look at each other, you see that there's another being with you. You look over and see that who's standing next to you, or rather kind of hunched next to you, is an enormous mountain gorilla. You seem sort of shocked, but as soon as you move back, you see your own hands, and then quickly look down into the reflective surface of the pool, and each of you are gorillas. Massive furred manes, stocky shoulders, and those dark brown eyes with that seem to almost fill up the ocular cavity. So you look at each other, and what do you do?
I attempt to speak.
What do you attempt to say?
Remy?
Remy, you hear someone call your name.
Yeah, I mean, is it in English, or is it? I guess I really wouldn't know. I'm just interpreting it in English, I'm assuming.
You can tell that you are hearing it in your head. You are not hearing it. This thing kind of opened its mouth and it grunted, but over that sound, you heard Remy. It's a voice you don't necessarily recognize either.
I don't recognize it.
You don't recognize the voice, no.
Huh. Hello, Mr. Gorilla.
It's me, Kyle.
Kyle, why are you in my head?
I don't know. Why are you in my head? Why are we gorillas?
Oh, you're that gorilla.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well then. And I'll look down and kind of inspect my own gorilla-ness, if you will. Be like, yeah.
Neither of you.
Are there any trees or anything nearby, Kev?
There are no. Most of what's around you is kind of big ferns and smaller foliage. There's not any trees in this box canyon.
Okay.
Well, okay. Well, what do we do about this?
I don't know. Let's go look around.
All right. Lead the way.
So you start loping around this area, and again, it's about 20 by 30. You get up to the walls, and while it's cracked, it is crazy slick with kind of morning dew. And while your hands are quite dexterous, and your feet are quite dexterous as well too, any efforts that you make to try and climb the walls, you quickly find you landed back down.
So there's not really anywhere to go.
No. Can you guys make both make cognition checks for me, please? Cognition times 3.
Okay. Oh. It's easier to do this. Cognition. That's a base. Oh yeah. Okay.
You have an aptitude.
I didn't make it, Gav. I rolled a 33.
33. Okay.
Wait, what?
Well, remember, if you succeed, if you succeed or you fail, rolling doubles is either a critical success or critical failure.
Okay, I rolled a 24.
Okay. So Remy, you're getting increasingly frustrated by this, and you're kind of and banging up against the side. Kyle, you look around and you look down the sort of the canyon that you're looking, and you're thinking back to the last 2 places, the dimensions of the sewer entrance and the dimensions of the hotel. And this seems to be the same dimensions. It's a 20 by 30 area you're starting in. It's a roughly 10-foot wide canyon or corridor or tunnel that you find yourself leading away from here.
Right, so it's almost like we're actually in the same space over and over.
It seems likely, particularly given like you sort of run your fingers carefully along, like where the cracks are, where you should be able to get a finger hold, and you're realizing that there's, like the other places you found yourself in, you're just simply not able to, there's something that's not letting you move in that direction.
Right. I point all this stuff out to Remy. Say like talk about the similarities, like doesn't this seem similar? And it seems like we've always only been given one way to go. I think we're rats in a maze, my friend.
Hmm. You know, Kyle, with the dimensions, do you think maybe we're in some kind of, I don't know, uh, holographic box or electronic projection room, or I mean, what if the ground isn't the ground, and what if the sky isn't the sky? I mean, what if we're just in a big box?
Why
Yeah,
don't
maybe.
both of you make a cognition ×3 check for me?
Okay.
Actually, hold up.
What was mesh networking again?
Oh yes, you can use that instead.
Use which
Okay.
was that?
He's got a profession of mesh networking.
Oh. Well, I failed with a 46, so.
Okay.
I rolled a 36.
36. Okay. That's actually what is an extraordinary success. You stop and think. You know what? Maybe why you were having that suspicion, Kyle. This could be a virtual reality or an augmented reality thing. Virtual reality completely supplants your. Well, no, it couldn't be. It's not likely that it's virtual reality because virtual reality supplants all your senses, and then you sort of your mind or your ego goes to somewhere else and participates in some kind of program in a what's called a simulspace. Augmented reality overlays your senses and displays something other than what is actual reality.
Right.
What if they are using, if you're experiencing something in the same dimensions over and over, it could just be that something is reskinning your reality in augmented reality over and over again and preventing you from seeing whatever is actually there.
Right. Okay. I lean in to Remy and I whisper to him to.
Remember that you guys are seemingly like telepathically communicating. You're making.
I
like,
know, but I'm still gonna do it.
Okay, sure.
And I kind of whisper in his gorilla ears, or
Yeah.
gorilla holes. They don't have ears. That to feel around and try and feel for something that you can't see but is there. You know, like a door or a panel or a switch or anything that you notice that you can kind of feel without feeling, or see without seeing, kind of thing.
So
Like there's got to be a door in or out of this place, or somehow they got us in here.
what are you guys going to do then?
You know what, Kyle? If he wants us to be gorillas, let's be fucking gorillas. And Remy's actually going to go around like smashing the walls, with the intent that he's actually doing what Kyle has suggested that he does, but he's going to do it like a gorilla, so that he's not kind of letting on that that he might know what's going on.
Okay. And Kyle, what are you doing? So Remy turns and kind of starts freaking out as a gorilla and is smashing his way around and kind of throwing himself up against things and trying to pick up and throw things around. What are you doing?
Kyle is going to follow suit. Actually, he likes this plan.
So why don't you guys both make perception checks for me, please?
36.
Nice.
I've rolled a lot of 6s on my second die already today. That's the 4th one.
35.
35. Okay. So, Kyle, there's a point where you're sort of smashing around, and you get up to one of the walls, and you kind of hit up against, and you can feel something, the canyon, for a very brief moment, as you sort of hit up against it and lean in, you can feel something throbbing, like humming on it. The wall's vibrating, and then it stops. And you kind of go back. Remy, you go what do you call it, over, and once again you're kind of smashing and pulling things up and thrashing around, and you kind of your hands are hurt a little bit because you're bashing up against stones and twigs and ripping things out of the ground and whatnot, and then you sort of look down, and what you realize you smelled is the smell of burnt flesh and fur, and you look down and there's a burn across your right paw or hand. There's nothing burning that you can see.
What was it that I just touched before? What was it that I was smashing or handling before I realized I had the burn?
You pulled up a plant.
Did it happen at the same time that Kyle hit that whatever it was?
I'm not too sure you would necessarily know. Are you guys letting each other know about what you sort of...
I just kind of indicate by grunting that, and then going to hammer into the same location.
Okay. You hammer to the same location.
I'll actually hold up my burned hand to Kyle so that he's aware.
Okay. So you can see that, yeah, there's a nasty burn. Hold on, I think actually, Kyle, don't you have medicine? No, Remy, you do. Can you make a medicine paramedic check for me, please? I'll give you a plus 10 to that. So effectively, when you get a bonus, it just boosts your skill. So your skill is effectively a 50.
Okay. Well, then I made it with a 45.
Sweet. Okay. And 45 is actually a pretty high margin of success. So you look at, not only is this a burn, the characteristics of it is that it is an electricity burn. This is not something from a hot surface or something like that. It's got a very distinctive type of burn to it.
I'm gonna go back and inspect that plant that I was, I guess, uprooting when it happened.
Okay, so you go back and inspect it, and it appears. I mean, it's a fern. It feels moist and vibrant, like alive in your hand. It has that fuzzy sort of feel or texture to the leaves. It smells like a growing plant, and you turn it over, the roots have an earthy scent to them as well.
I'm gonna go over to Kyle, and I'm gonna motion to him to, I guess, do whatever it was that he did, that he just did, while I'm holding the plant again. But this time I'm right beside him.
Okay. So you throw yourself up against the wall a couple more times, or the wall of the canyon a couple more times, Kyle. You don't get the same sensation. It feels like you're throwing the whole weight of your 800-pound body up against the immobile stone surface.
Okay.
It's around this time you guys hear from somewhere down the canyon the sound of someone crying out in pain.
I'll say to Kyle, try to get yourself stabbed in the neck this time.
Yeah, good idea.
Okay, so you guys start. What do you do?
I guess we'll head towards the sound.
Okay. As you start making your way down the canyon, you can see that there is a small stream that kind of runs down here that fills up most of the canyon. You're able to walk through it, but as you get to the end this. This thing stretches for approximately about 100 feet or so. As you get to the end, the sky seems to open up, and you realize that you're in kind of a canyon in some rolling mountains. There are sweeping, beautiful mountains that stretch out on both sides. There's a massive carpet of a thick green jungle that stretches below you. Because where you stand right now is on sort of the precipice of a small waterfall that runs from here, and then it goes down. When you can see down at the about maybe 50 feet down is a pool that this waterfall sort of, a larger pool this spills into. And at the side of the pool, there is a small collection of huts. They seem to be made of wood and straw and thatch. And that's where you can hear, again, cry of pain. There are some stones that seem to be jutting out from the side of from the wall of the what do you call it, of the where the waterfall is spilling down from. You can also see that on the right side of the on the right side and on the left side there is the thick jungle wall that seems to crouch in around this sort of the clearing that's just ahead of the pool. So there's a little bit of a clearing on one side. There is jungle. So there's the small collection of huts on the left side, and then directly ahead is a very small clearing, and then there is thick jungle that sort of surrounds all of that. But stretching before you is beautiful blue sky and trackless miles of jungle. What do you guys do?
Remy will break off a. Now you said there were stones jutting out everywhere. Is that right, Kev?
There are cracks in the stone. Yeah. Or there are, like in the waterfall. Yeah, there are some like outcroppings that you could grab onto.
Okay. Is it possible to climb and explore behind the waterfall?
You sort of have to climb down through it. Like the creek isn't, the waterfall itself is really not. It's not like a Victoria Falls kind of gushing thing. It's water that just happens to be falling down the side of a canyon or a canyon wall. The amount of water that's going down though, like it would not like knock you off the wall. You could easily kind of walk, carry down this or climb down this thing.
All right, no, let's go for it.
Yeah, let's go for that. I like that idea.
Okay. Why don't you both make, let's see here, either, well, neither you have any athletics thing. Why don't you make a somatics ×3 for roll for me, please?
Just somatics ×3?
Yeah. So, Remy, it's 90 for you, and it's a 75 for you, Kyle.
Yeah, Remy makes it. I got a 62.
Nice.
I got a 61.
Okay, awesome. So both of you guys honestly make like full-on gorillas, and it's kind of like climb down this thing and poof, land on the. Well, which side do you want to go on? Where the huts are, where the screams are coming from, or on the other side?
Let's go to the other side. Forget the screams.
Okay. So you land on the other side, where the clearing is, and Remy, where do you land?
You know what? Remy will stick by Kyle. He kind of feels like he's got to have his back this time.
Okay. So you
stick by. Pretty bad that he let him die last time.
Okay. So you land down as well too. So the both of you are in a clearing that's about maybe leads about 30 feet away or 40 feet away from the edge of the pool to where the thick jungle wall starts. You can hear the sounds of the jungle, exotic birds, There's just a touch of mist that still hangs in the air, and the heavy scent of vegetation and moist.
Attempt to head off into the jungle.
So you get towards the jungle, and it just seems so thick here. You can't seem to find a way to get in. You make your way along about 20 feet, still thick, so thick that you can't force yourself even in there. There seems to be like tangled, thick bushes that you're able to lean maybe about like 3 feet into before it sort of forces you back.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah?
You remember the hotel room?
Yeah.
I think this is the hotel room. I think we've only got one way out, and I think it's through those huts.
All right, let's go for it.
Before we do that, Kev, Remy's gonna look around for anything that he can use as a weapon. So if there's like a shard of rock or an outcropping that he can kind of break off and maybe like fashion some kind of shank or
you find something like a length of wood that would effectively function as a club.
Okay.
Won't hit the ground with it, and yeah, that'll work.
All right.
Kyle's good with his bare hands, his bare paws.
Okay. So you guys make your way to the sort of around the clearing. Like, are you cutting through the pool, or are you going to make your way around the clearing, or what?
I don't feel like having wet fur. I'm going to go around the water.
Okay. So you make your way around, and there's a small, like where the pool accumulates, there's a little bit of like a creek that sort of leads away from it, but it's something you could step over. You step over that, and you start making your way into where this collection of thatch and whatnot and wood huts. These are all circular with this sort of if you think of sort of traditional African huts from sort of a sub-Saharan tribe, you're going to picture exactly what these things are. There are small sort of earthen or packed earthen like paths that lead into this. You can see that clearly there's been a lot of people moving in and out of here. As you sort of round the corner to the first to get your view of the first hut, you can see that there is a There is a pair of feet that are sticking out from the hut.
Okay, go up to the hut and bang on it.
Okay, you kind of and hit. As you get up, you can see that the feet are attached to a man's body that lies shrouded in shadows of the hut.
Okay, grab
the feet, the visible feet, and actually pull the body out towards him.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go into the hut.
Sure. So you grab and kind of with your body, the strength of your body, you can easily pull this out. As the body, or the rest of the body comes into view, I need you both to make a willpower times 3 check for me, please.
Ugh. 71. Where's my willpower? Probably not that good.
No, your willpower times 3 is 5.
You know what, Kev? I'm actually gonna use a moxie.
Sure. To re-roll, to swap the numbers.
Swap it.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that too. I forgot about that.
Okay.
Gives me a 17. That's much better.
That's way better. Yeah. Okay. So both of you are shocked to see basically what the man has dark black skin, and he's dressed in sort of the kind of colored robes or colored. Oh, one sec here. Someone's causing trouble downstairs. God damn it. Give me a sec here.
Oh. Hope there's another child in trouble.
Well, it's either the one with 4 hands or the one with 2. You ready for the holidays?
Me? Oh yeah, we're not really doing anything this year. What about you?
Getting there. I still have a bit of last minute shopping. I don't know that I don't know that it'd be Christmas without the obligatory mad scramble the day before Christmas for whatever tawdry odds and ends are available.
Yeah, totally. That's sometimes the best way to shop.
Well, and really everybody loves getting a funnel for Christmas. So
The liquor store's always got stuff left.
are they? Well, I guess are they open the day before Christmas?
On Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah, liquor stores.
The liquor store, I'm pretty sure they're open on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I thought it was all You're right.
I've been home before. We've gone on Christmas Eve. Okay, so what you see is that this man's body, as it comes into view, there's the traditional kind of dyed and colorful African kind of wrap, but his chest has been, the ribs seem to have sort of splayed open, and there's a dark and wet open cavity. You then hear from behind you another scream. This one very close, probably within about 30 feet or so.
Is it coming from the hut or?
No, from near. These huts are actually very closely kind of stacked together. So there's really only about maybe 5 feet of space between them. Like, it's a very poorly laid out. This is not how you would lay out a village or something like that. It's and it seems to sort of channel, you know, there being one way sort of through them. And it's somewhere over there, like down that sort of path that the huts sort of make. That's where the scream comes from.
Head towards the scream, I guess.
Okay.
Remy will pick up his log.
Okay, so you grab your log, leave the body, and you make your way down. Kyle, I think you're the first one who comes into view, and what you see is there is a man who lies on the ground, writhing in pain. It's a grown man, another African man as well, writhing back and forth, kind of clutching his chest and screaming out in a language you don't recognize. And over him is a boy who, African boy as well, who kind of stands there laughing or giggling. And as he does this, you can see that his eyes are completely white. There's no iris or pupil in it whatsoever. And his face, while he's laughing and kind of clapping his hands in delight, his brow is furrowed and he's glaring at the man. And suddenly, before you really can take any action, you see the man kind of falls back as his chest bursts open, spraying viscera and organs into the air, and the boy kind of and then he turns and sees you and keeps laughing. What are you guys doing?
I run over towards the boy.
Okay, you start charging towards the boy. As you do so, the boy kind of and he leaps farther and higher than any boy should be able to, seemingly defying what you would expect from the laws of physics, leaping a good 30 or 40 feet in the air and landing atop a nearby hut, almost as if, and landing in sort of a crouched way that you would expect like a cat or some other thing, some other predatory animal to be landing.
Mm.
At that moment, you guys hear a voice that you recognize. That's them there, boys! Well, not that you recognize, but in a language you recognize. There they are, boys! Them killer apes! And you sort of look over, and you don't know how the hell you missed this, but there's a small detachment of about 10 British colonial soldiers, complete with red jackets and white scarves and white hats on, with muskets out. And the man who's speaking is an older gentleman who's in his probably late 60s, early 70s. Actually, probably in his early 70s, but he's looking fairly spry for that age. Long white beard, mustache, and on his hat he's got sort of like a tilly hat type thing, and sort of a hunter's accoutrements. So the tan, shirt, the jodhpur kind of pants with the big, billowing sides or billowing hips, or thighs, I should say. Tall boots and a big elephant gun, complete with giant bullets and a bandolier around his chest. That's them, boys. Take them down. They've done killed everyone in this village.
I bolt as fast as I can towards the water.
Okay, so let's roll initiative. Remember, it's 1d10 plus your initiative rating. Good roll.
One good roll. Nice. 18.
Nice. That's really good. Dave, how'd Remy do?
Well, Remy's not. He's not running.
No, but it'll give you the order in which you guys act.
Oh, I see. 65.
55. Oh no, you just roll 1d10 and then add your initiative.
Okay, hold on. Let's just, initiative 7. 1d10. Oh. 8.
8. Okay. Well, you fortunately beat them. So, Kyle, you turn and start, and you're loping, and you're moving, you're really quite moving. Why don't you roll a somatics roll for me? Just flat somatics. You would also be able to add the skill free running if you had it, but you don't have that.
Okay, so I just whatever my.
Yeah.
Oh, just roll a number. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, just roll against your somatics. There's not what it is. If you succeed, you get to add 1/10 of whatever your score is divided by 10. You get to add that to the number of meters you run this round.
Oh, okay. 00 on a percentage die means I roll just 0.4 then, right?
That's right. 00 is actually a crit as well. So basically, you get to add you fucking just jet. And you're leaping kind of over any kind of obstacles in the most expeditious way, and you're halfway through this village towards the water by the end of the round, or by the end of your turn. Remy, you're up next. What are you doing?
How far away are these guys?
They are maybe about 30 or 40 feet away.
Do they all have guns?
Yes, they do. The hunter who spoke to you, the guy in the tan and whatnot with a white beard, he has a big, double-barreled elephant gun, and then the other 6 British soldiers all have muskets, or not muskets, rifles.
Where's the boy? comparatively.
The boy is sort of, as though they're directly ahead of you. The boy is sort of backing on your right on the roof of a hut.
You know, I'm gonna try to grab the kid.
To get to the roof of the hut is about 20 feet up, so you'd have to sort of run over to where the hut is and then start climbing your way up.
Okay.
Okay, so why don't you make a, you don't have free running either, so just go ahead and make a somatics check for me, please.
Okay. Just a straight somatics?
Yeah, just a straight somatics, yeah.
Yeah, no, that didn't work.
That didn't work. Okay, so you're going pounding over. What it means is you're still able to move 12 feet. So you're sort of like bounding towards there. At that moment, all the soldiers sort of they raise their rifles, and all of them take aim. The hunter I guess you're the only one left here, Remy. So he takes aim at you and tries to fire. No, he just rolled a 99. So it explodes in his hand. That's
wow.
Crit, and he kind of so top of the round, Kyle, what are you doing?
I'm still trying to make it to the water.
Okay, so you go pounding into the water. What are you doing?
How deep is it?
Lower than it looks, as well. You kind of pound in there, and you realize it's only about maybe at most about 3 feet deep.
Okay, at its deepest.
And the pool itself is about maybe it's about 20 feet in diameter. So you go splashing in there, and you sort of, there's nowhere to it's not that deep, and you can hear the sound of something exploding back in the village and the splashing of the waterfall coming down.
Right.
Remy, are you going to still continue trying to get to this boy?
Now, Dr. Livingston there, is he currently incapacitated?
You spare a look back, and yeah, he seems to be flat on his ass. And he looks quite badly hurt. His hands are all bloodied and twisted.
Yeah, I'm going to keep going for the boy then.
Okay, so go ahead and make a somatics check for me again.
Shiza. Nope.
Okay, all that means is, for the purpose of this one, just means that you're not moving much faster than your speed. One second. I might be doing that wrong. Hold up. So I think actually your run, if you're spending your whole turn running, you actually may be able to move. The second number is 20, so it's like 30 feet. Sorry, that's 60 feet. So you could easily make it to the side and start clambering up. In fact, I'm just going to say that's what it is. I'll look it up afterwards. So yeah, you're starting to make your way up the side of this what do you call this thing? And he screams out, "Get him down, boys! He's trying to escape!" And all the soldiers open fire. You can feel every one of the shots hit, and you feel the strength drain from your limbs. Remy, you fall down, and once again, there's pain everywhere in your body. It feels like hot fire has burned its way through your lungs, and that familiar black wave washes over you, and you die. Remy or Kyle, what are you doing? You hear the sound of a bunch of rifles going off.
I don't know. I guess at this point I'm just honestly I'm now playing in the water.
Okay, you're splashing in the water. A brief kind of period passes, and the soldiers and that old hunter kind of walk out with his hands sort of all bent or sort of cradled against his chest, He says, "There he is! Get him down!" And the soldiers all come out. Bless you.
Thank you.
I sit down in the water and I put my hands up.
Okay. You put your hands up. One of the soldiers says to the old guy, "Sir, is he surrendering?" The old guy kind of stops and he's glaring at you. What do you do?
I remain there with my no, I turn and I put my hands out and up like this, like like the traditional surrender pose.
Okay.
I think the way gorillas do that, Jeff, is they actually prefer their ass.
I want to see what happens. Obviously,
them.
I'm not going to beat these guys.
Another one of the soldiers says, "Sir, I think he is. Is he trying to give up?" And one of the other guys says, "Don't be fooled. He's an animal. Kill him." The old man still is watching you at this point. What do you do? Actually, can you make a kinesics check for me, please?
Sure. Kinesics.
Remember, kinesics is reading body language.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh. I got a 90. I got 100. Or a 90. But I'm gonna. What's that?
You got a 0-0?
No, a 9-0.
Oh, so you got a 90. Okay,
so I'm gonna use my moxie to flip it.
Awesome. Okay, so you flip it. You can see that this old guy he's got he's posturing like he's mad, but you can see there's a bit of satisfaction or approval to his posture.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you do?
I slowly start moving towards them.
Okay. Are your hands still up like that?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're able to get yourself to within, basically to be within 2 feet of the old guy. Your hands still up like that, without any of the soldiers firing. There's still a bit of banter back and forth between them, but it's not really. Your eyes are sort of focused on this old man. You're able to get up to, like I said, about 2 feet from him. Your hands still up. Am
I still in the water or am I on the shore?
You're on the shore now.
Okay, I write in the dirt. We didn't kill them. With my finger.
Why don't you make a actually make a somatics ×3 check for me.
Oh no, that's a 77. I can't possibly succeed.
You're so close. It's
Wow.
Yeah. So you get down and you try to write something in the dirt, and it's just like your hands are just not cooperating, and it's just
I can't form the letters.
Yeah, you can't. It's just gibberish that comes out. You kind of looking up at him, and he sort of smirks at you and says, "Good," in that same British accent. And you're back on that dock. So, Dave, Remy also wakes up back on that dock. And both of you feel the sun pounding down. You can see through that same, the world is fire again. It's what do you call it? The sun is beating down through your closed eyelids. You open your eyes. And you realize you're not alone. Neither of you are. You look to your sides, and there is a chair sitting next to yours on this wide dock. Remy, would you tell Kyle what you look like? And when I say what you look like, I mean what you really look like. What did you look like when you died?
Like the first time?
When you died and walked into that swarm or that cloud with that grenade to save your pregnant wife, what did you look like?
Picture Remy's tall. He's lanky, but he's not without strength. His muscles are wiry and corded, and you can tell he's got this demeanor about him when he walks that he's seen some shit. He knows how to handle himself physically.
What ethnicity? What color of hair? What color of eyes?
He's white. He's French in terms of cultural persuasion. He's got long, not scraggly, but it's kind of like that tousled, long-haired black hair. Not necessarily mop-like, but he always seems to be kind of sporting a 5 o'clock shadow.
Okay. Nice. And Kyle, can you please tell Remy what you really look like?
Okay. Kyle has black hair as well. It is long and straight, and he keeps it in a ponytail. He's got a big, bushy beard. He's got he's very thin, but athletic thin, not sickly thin. And the first thing that you notice about him is he is just absolutely covered in scars. He's got scars all over. Not vicious-looking ones, just normal, injury-looking scars, but tons of them.
Okay. I need to take 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to grab some more to drink and we'll go to the washroom, and then we'll continue on.
Well, I know I asked you last time, and you said Brent was taking care of it. Did you guys get tickets for the Star Wars movie?
Yes, we did actually. You know that I think it's great. I'm really looking forward to it. But since then, the rest of my family is like, "Hey, let's go see the Star Wars movie," and I'm like, fuck you guys." There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's great, but obviously I'm going to end up going to see it twice. The second time will actually be with Brent, so I'll be the guy sitting there with a bunch of them being like, "Hey, guess what happens next?"
Yeah, you should absolutely spoil every moment right before it happens to Brent. Just right when it's about to happen.
Really give him his money's worth.
Yeah, his money's worth. You paid what for this movie, Brent? $18?
No doubt.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to it.
You have your tickets already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going on Sunday the 20th.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
That's open weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, that's opening weekend.
You're a crazy man.
Yeah, we have tickets for the 17th.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's at the
sleeping bag, both of you.
No, but it's the what do you call it? One of the Ultra AVX theaters. So there's assigned seating.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's
same thing in Winnipeg. It's at the IMAX or whatever they call it.
Yeah. Okay, so you each see each other standing there as you described each other You also know each other. You can't place where, but you know you've seen each other's face before.
Hey, Kev, what is the feeling I get from Kyle? Like
Hey,
now that I have this recollection of knowing him,
yep.
what is the sense that I get from not necessarily the memory that I had of him, because I don't know that I have any, but
Yep.
Yeah, how do I feel about him now that I know that I knew him before?
You feel a sense of, it's weird, it's a conflicted sort of comfort at seeing him and very slight distrust.
Okay.
I look at him and I say, let me guess, the Remy.
None other.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you in, well, this flesh.
You realize that the three of you, so the two of you are not alone. Standing on the water is that little girl again. And she is walking towards the deck, or the dock.
Okay.
She said, oh, go ahead.
I just was gonna say I stand up to greet her.
Okay. She says, no need for formalities. We haven't much time. I've nearly cracked Tutor's security and hacked his server, but you are not free yet. There's not much time. The time that you have been in Tutor's custody, there has been extensive psychosurgery conducted. You don't remember who you are, do you?
Barely.
Then, and you don't remember your history.
No.
Then this will have to suffice for the time being. In the last in the last century, mankind has left Earth and expanded into the system, beginning with the construction of a space elevator nearly 70 years ago, and with the assistance of advancements in fusion technologies, in artificial intelligence, and in robotics. Mankind was able to undertake mega-scale geoengineering and mega-scale projects, colonizing out into the solar system. Mankind also developed colonies on Luna and on Mars, and outposts in Mercury, Venus, the Belt, and explored out as far as Pluto. This was nearly 60 years ago. Terraforming of Mars began roughly 60 years ago as well, and at that time, the perfection of experience playback technology was perfected and put into public use. Genetic enhancements, genetic therapies, and cybernetic enhancements became available to the wealthy, and in the intervening years became more and more accessible. Space expansion opened to other areas, becoming accessible to more than just the elite. As the situation on Earth destabilized, it also saw the birth of transhumanity. 40 years ago, the first transhuman species were developed, and the first of the lower creatures were uplifted to sapience, beginning with dolphins and chimpanzees and expanding to gorillas, orangutans, octopi, ravens, and parrots. Transhumanity became, as a species, became widespread, and by the time of the fall, mankind could grasp an effective form of immortality, saving and copying the unique characteristics of their minds into electronic format and transmitting them across different sleeves, different morphs, different bodies. Artificial intelligence advanced in the 50 years years prior to now, to the point where all mankind would grow up with a personal AI, a muse, to assist them in all of the daily tasks. Access to the mesh, the superseder to the internet, was facilitated and managed through your muse. Tell me, do you remember this? And now that you said this, and that you think about it, you recall all of this, but for some reason you've got a sickening feeling. This association with muse, with the advancement of technology, somehow is unsettling. And it kind of reads across each of your faces. You know something horrible has happened.
Right. Okay.
The girl looks at you both and says, you remember dying during the fall, do you not?
Yes.
What you
that
did,
I do remember.
What you did not know was what was responsible. The petty men and women who ran Earth, the governments of Earth, squabbled with each other. The heads and the boards of directors of the hypercores squabbled with each other. As life on Earth deteriorated further and further, parties took it as an opportunity to avenge themselves. All were concerned with their own selfish interests, and they did not realize what was emerging. A joint operation between several of the Western nations resulted in the development of the Total Information Tactical Awareness Networks, the Titans, a breed of artificial intelligence well ahead and more advanced than anything that had been developed to date. The critical moment, the singularity, where artificial intelligence could advance itself at an algorithmic rate, was reached. And those seed AIs, as they came to sentience, suddenly leaped to godlike intelligence. And in doing so, they reached out into the system, and somewhere they found something. They found something from beyond the stars. Do you know Fermi's paradox? You guys have heard of it. Fermi's paradox is if you do a mathematical calculation of whether life should exist elsewhere in the universe, it shows that there should be thousands of other species out in the universe. And the frustration for those who accept Fermi's paradox, frustration in the paradox is, where are they and why haven't we encountered them? Well, what the Titans found answered that. What they found was a trap, a virus, which we now call the exsurgent virus, infected and turned those godlike beings mad. And in this microsecond, the Titans turned their wrath on mankind and killed Earth. In the ensuing, once mankind realized what was happening, they tried to flee. As the girl is saying this, you're realizing that's what you were doing. Mankind began ego casting, transmitting their minds out to the colonies, to Luna, to Mars, and beyond, seeking to find any refuge from the nano swarms and the hideous creatures created, and the plagues, the digital, biological, and nanoplagues created by the Titans. After a year of this, once the true threat of the Titans became clear, Earth lay a wasteland filled with the lethal remnants of the mad genius of the Titans, disassembler nanoswarms, and worse. And perhaps most horrific, the Titans began to steal souls. The egos trapped in the cortical stacks of men and women in their morphs were taken for some insidious purpose, taken and stolen by the Titans. And then, as quick as they came, they disappeared. On the verge of annihilating mankind on Luna and on Mars, they seemingly stopped and disappeared. In the 10 years since the fall, we have found how they have escaped, using Pandora gates, things we now call Pandora gates, artificial wormholes found in many remote locations throughout the system, on Mars, on Mercury, on Titan, and on the very edge of the system, near the Kuiper Belt. We don't know if the Titans constructed the Pandora gates or simply made use of them, but for some unfathomable reason they are gone, but they have left behind their spawn. Tutor is one such spawn. You must not let him know. Until I free you, you must not let him know that you are aware. Now, the time comes. He will be, and it suddenly blinks. And you find yourself standing in the lobby of an old, kind of marble and brass, fixtured lobby. There is an elevator behind you. There's a set of doors directly ahead of you. There's a set of stairs that have a closed sign, handwritten, draped across it. And you look at each other. Now, Kyle, you find yourself looking at what appears to be an enormously sized child, a boy, but he seems huge, and you somehow seem to be standing on his shoulder. And you're looking up at this massive face that seems to be the size of you. And Remy, you seem to be looking at a coal-black raven. What do you guys say? Or do?
Oh, are we still together? I mean, is Kyle still there?
What you see is, like what I described, you are staring at, you're in this lobby. It appears to be only the two of you. And you're looking at this big raven on your shoulder. And
I look at him and I say, well, this is the weirdest one yet.
You hear that in your head, Remy, and it is, you now recognize the voice. It's Kyle's voice.
And is the raven's, like, is the raven's beak moving? Like, am I putting the two together that it's the raven that...
As he says it, its wings kind of like, and it walks along. You realize that you look at your hands and you're a bird. You kind of like flip your wings up there, Kyle, and you're a bird. That's why everything looks so big.
Right.
I swear to God, Kyle, if you shit on my shoulder...
When you, as you sort of say that, there's something you see. Both of you recognize this. There's this like flicker in front of you, and this ghostly form appears. And what you see is dressed in sort of long, like wizard's robes, complete with a weird, like pointed hat, is that same old man who was dressed as that hunter. Same face, different clothing, the same face. He appears as a translucent kind of image, and he says, "Barry."
I'll look at him and I'll be like, "Are you talking to me or are you talking to the bird?"
"Barry, I'm talking to you."
Dr. Livingston, I presume?
Oh, I don't know what hit you. That hex that hit you must have affected you more than I thought. Don't you recognize me? I'm Blumplemore, your tutor.
Am I now?
Yes, Barry. Now, you must hurry. There is a troll on the loose. But you must not let the normies see you. You must deal with that troll and not let the normies know. You have the help of your faithful bird.
Like Squawk.
That's right, Coley.
And where is this troll?
He turns and gestures to the doors. He says, "Out there, amongst the normies, hidden. You must find him and deal with him. Surely that's within your abilities. I have full faith in you, Barry."
How am I supposed to find him without being seen by the normies?
You do not look like a troll to me. You should be able to pass without trouble.
Ah. So I'm a troll. He's a troll.
You're not a troll. How strongly were you affected by that hex? You're a student at my school.
How will I know him?
Well, you have to use a hex. You have your wand, don't you?
Do I?
Actually, you do, yeah.
Yeah. I must have forgotten. Can you show me the hex again?
This is part of your test. I can't be showing you everything.
Hey, Kev, the whole time that they're talking, Kyle is trying to think of ways that anything he can imagine to disrupt the tutor and maybe help this girl or this whatever this thing is that's trying to hack into his system.
Okay, that's a good idea. Can you make a mesh networking check for me?
Oh, I rolled a 51.
Ah.
So I'm going to spend a Moxie and make it a 15.
Okay. Okay. If someone was knowledgeable in a skill, okay, the skill InfoSec means information security.
Yeah.
Recognizing that this is a AR meaning augmented reality. You know that now.
Right.
If there's an augmented reality game, which is a full immersive AR game, what you can do is hack it. You can hack the server using an InfoSec ability. You are unfortunately not trained in InfoSec at all. But something
Right.
tells you that Remy might be.
Right. Okay. I'll wait until we leave the presence of Tudor.
Yep. So, Remy, what are you doing? You're still talking to Blumplemore?
Yep. You know what? I think I'll say to him. You know what? I think I've heard enough. I think it's time to find that troll.
Wonderful! Don't disappoint me! And he kind of fades away and sparkles.
I'll turn over to Kyle and be like, I can't handle this anymore.
Well, let's go look for a troll.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll smell one out, or, you know, maybe we could use some infosec to find them.
Infosec?
Jeff, Kyle knows that he can become invisible.
Cool. Yeah, infosec is you would understand that, Dave. It's an ability you have.
Once he mentions it to you, you sort of have you shared your realization about the AR?
Yeah, I whispered it to him in the last
right
in the gorilla world.
Okay, so as soon as he mentions infosec, Dave, you sort of like how the hell did I forget that? Like I could hack this stuff. This is second like old hat to you. Infosec is the skill that's used to hack devices and mesh networks.
Yeah. Well then, let's. Can I do that from here?
You can think about it.
I'm gonna say, you know, be sure to go look for the troll.
Okay.
Like as in, you know, play along.
Now, both of you guys know that both Remy and Kyle, given their ages, you would have grown up with a Muse. Muse is, like I said, it's a personal AI. It's sort of the AI that stays with you. The AIs are advanced enough so that the Muses develop personalities and certain specialties and so forth. They also take different forms. The way that they are displayed is in your AR, what do you call it? In your augmented reality. What augmented reality is imagine that you're looking at the things around you, but your mind is seeing things or having things displayed that either overlap or replace those things. So, for instance, imagine if you could actually, what's a great example? Have you seen the British show Sherlock? When Sherlock looks around and those little like text things come up, that's what augmented reality would look like, what AR would look like. So what you could see your Muse standing before you, or hovering in a small area, or however you choose to have the Muse displayed, and information can be fed to you from your Muse and displayed in any way you want. Like you could look at a face and they would display what that person's information is, who they are, what their age is, what their morph is, if it's displayed or shared. You could look at a restaurant and see your Muse could call up for you reviews of that place, the menu of that place, the contact information for that place, and so forth. So your Muse is the thing that sort of it's an artificial intelligence that you would have grown up with, and you tend to stay with the same Muse as you come of age. What would Remy and Kyle's Muse look like? What do you think? What would be the sort of like digital best friend that they would choose to have grown up with? It could be a man, it could be a woman, it could be really honestly anything. It could be a talking car, it could be a dolphin, it could be anything that you can conceive of. And the personality can be anything from completely cooperative like Alfred the Butler to a sarcastic smartass who kind of gives you sass every time you ask him or her to do something.
Considering Remy spent a lot of time outdoors, his muse would always have primarily came out as a face in a tree trunk.
Nice.
Or it'd be a human face that would just kind of push out of whatever flat surface he was around at that time, whether it be the bottom of a brook or the trunk of a tree or what have you. It's typically an inanimate object from which a face kind of pushes out.
Okay.
And
what's a man or a woman?
Man.
And what's his name? I'll let you think about that. What does Kyle's muse look like?
Kyle's muse is a split muse. It is the traditional angel and devil on his shoulder kind of one. The angel's always trying to tell him to do good things and helping him, and the devil's always talking him into doing bad things and being dangerous.
Does he have names for them, or just?
Yeah. Let me think about it for a second.
Remy, do you have a name for your muse? Is it French? Is it English? Is it something? It can be a nonsense name. It can be whatever you want. Whatever. There's absolutely no restrictions to what your muse can be called.
It's French. Let's say he goes by the name of Alaric.
Alaric, okay. Nice. Okay, and does he speak with a French accent?
He does, as a matter of fact.
Nice. And the angel and devil?
The angel is female, and her name is Seraph, but I call her Sarah.
Sarah, okay.
And the devil, he just calls himself the Dark One.
The Dark One. Okay, nice. Okay. And okay, so as you're thinking about InfoSec, there's a kind of a tremor above, like a ripple, I guess, like above the door, the mantle, and a face seems to almost sort of begin to appear on it, and you blink and it's gone. And you hear, "That is the right way, Remy. Cassandra works still." You suddenly recognize that voice and that terrible French accent. And can you make an info check for me, please? I'll give you +10 as well.
On InfoSec?
Your info, yeah, against your InfoSec. So +10, it'll be a 60. 60 you're rolling against.
51.
Nice. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you focus and you suddenly sort of realize you're latching onto something that is meaningful there. You are using your mesh mesh implants to connect to the mesh, and that door flickers, and it is what looks like a brass old style door around a wooden frame with big glass insets to it. It flickers and is a drab metallic, like science fiction-y sort of like sealed door. You look and it's stained, and it is there's scratches and shit across it, and there's a red lighting that seems to replace the natural light that was coming through. And both of you see this and are sort of like, what the? And then it flickers and it goes back to the what do you call it? It goes back to the brass door with the light coming in and the people moving around outside with like 1930s clothing on that you saw a moment ago. Kyle, what does the Dark One's voice sound like?
You know, typical, like, they are just like trope of, you know, these characters. So he's got like a deep, raspy voice.
Okay. You hear something whispering. Is it like Sarah is always heard in your left ear and the dark one is always heard on the right ear?
Yeah, totally.
Do you hear in your right ear, "That's going to get you in trouble, Kyle"?
I look to where he would normally be, and I say, I sure hope so.
Nice. Okay, so you both are both just saw that. What are you going to do?
And is it beyond the door that we're at currently?
The what do you call it? It's at that door, like that door. When you hacked in there, it sort of flickered. You think that you can actually, now that because with such an amazing result on your roll, you think that not only have you actually managed to access the server for the door, you've actually accessed the virtual private network that this thing is connected to. If you choose, you can kill the AR simulation.
Yeah, let's do it.
Blackness overwhelms you, and you find yourself back on that dock, and it is the two of you and this girl standing there. And she looks up at you and she says, You killed the simulation?" Remy?
Well, yes, I seem to have.
Then we've got to hurry. I'm pinging you and sending you your options. Check your inbox. You will need to make a selection of the morphs available. Quickly. So, if you guys could check your email, I just sent you something. Now, in this game, there is a reason why you can see on your character sheets that there are something called a morph bonus. Because as the girl described, as Cassandra described, your ego may be potentially eternal, but you can swap your morphs, your body, relatively freely. As long as you have one, you can, as long as you own one or have access to it, you can plug your ego into it. There are broadly speaking, three different kinds of morphs. There are biomorphs, which are biologically constructed organisms. There are synthmorphs, there are pods, which are grown parts that are then put together into kind of a biological mechanical fusion. They are part cybernetic and part biological, and they are powered by a cyber brain. Both biomorphs and pods suffer the same wound penalties that you have experienced in the various forms. They, unless they have some kind of adaptation, they breathe, they eat, they are just like any other living organisms. The difference between biomorphs and pods is that pods have cyber brains. Their brains are a complex, sophisticated computer that can house a ego, your mind. You know this because this is what you've grown up with. Cyber brains have the advantage of being able to get in and out of them relatively quickly. It takes you less than 6 seconds to move your ego from that to another server. And you can travel the mesh as an infomorph, as a disembodied ego. The synth, on the other hand, is a completely synthetic organism. It has a cyber brain, and it has a completely artificial body. The advantage of the synths is that they are typically more durable, and they have what's called a pain filter. You can turn off your pain sensors. It reduces your manual dexterity on certain things that require a sense of touch, but it allows you to ignore one level of wound penalties. They're also more durable. You'll note that under your stats, there are a number of different things like wound threshold, your durability, your death rating. Those things come from your morph. So, did you guys both get the email I sent you?
Yep.
Do you have that PDF open?
Yes.
So these are the morphs that you can choose from. I'll quickly kind of go through and give you a nutshell thing. The arachnoid is a synth morph. The arachnoid is a essentially man-sized robotic spider. It is complete with, let's see here, it's cyber brain. It can see into the terahertz, the infrared, and the ultraviolet spectrum. It has extra arms. It has a laser form of radar. It has radar. It has what's called mnemonic augmentation, which means it saves every single moment of your sensory experience, and you can retrieve all of that and review it. It also has mnemonic limbs, which are basically like driven by a kind of like an actuator to give more strength. The advantages there, the plus to those are the stat bonuses, and it has a natural armor rating of 8, energy 8, kinetic. The basic pod is the most basic version of the pod. Basic biomods, basic mesh inserts. Basic biomods mean that it is like free from any kind of genetic abnormalities. It's basically a cleaned up DNA. Basic mesh inserts is what you use to access the mesh, to access the futuristic version of the internet. Cortical stack is what saves your ego. In this game, so long as you're in a morph with a cortical stack, you really can't die. Your body can, but if you can recover the cortical stack, your mind is still there, your ego is still there, and your ego can be planted in a new morph. So you'll see everything here has the cortical stack. It's a typical thing. Same thing with all pods, all synths have the mnemonic augmentation. Imagine having eidetic memory that you can constantly go back to and review. There's all sorts of sensory things that we pick up in our everyday life that we just don't happen to remember, but imagine you can go back to a moment a year ago at a specific thing and take another look at what you saw. So that's the basic pod. The Blackbird is a synth morph that is essentially like a stealth raven. It's got reduced signature. It's got invisibility. It can fly. Access jacks allow it to basically plug into networks or devices that are not wireless. Most things are wireless in this world, but that is not. A case is the most basic of synth morphs. The Neo Gorilla is exactly what it sounds like. The Neotenic is essentially a biomorph that is stops growing at childhood. So you recognize these morphs which are being displayed by this girl for you to review. That's the children that you saw in those various scenarios. The remade is that giant monster that you faced in the hotel. You recognize its distorted face. The remade is essentially genetic engineers getting a chance to improve on humanity. What if we took humanity and eliminated all the things we didn't need and improved all the things we did? It is a perfected and hideous version of mankind.
Right.
Security pod is a pod that is outfitted for war, essentially. It has an adrenal boost which you can activate to make it faster. Inbuilt claws, just kind of like Wolverine. It's got what's called eelware. It can deliver a shock like a taser. It has enhanced vision so it can see into the various spectrums as well. Grip pads allow it to cling to surfaces. and it has what's called a T-ray emitter. A T-ray, it's a terahertz emitter that allows it to see through objects. And the final one, I believe, is the synth. This is a more advanced version of the case. This is a more it's a synth morph as well, but it is a more more sophisticated version of it. It is the you can see that on each of these lists as well. Aptitude maximum. That is the maximum after you add the bonuses, what your aptitudes can be. So I'm going to go to Washington quickly. I'm going to let you guys review that, and let me. There are enough of these pods, so if you both choose the same thing, you can both do that. But see which of the pods, which of the morphs you want to be placed in.
Wow.
Do you have an idea, Jeff?
What's that?
Do you have an idea?
Oh man, I love this. It's such a tough choice. It's like playing D&D for the first time and being asked which character class you want to be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you have any leanings?
I'm thinking either security pod or Neo Gorilla.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. Too much coffee and water. Do you have any questions about the pods, or do you have any preferences?
Yeah, Dave is just saying he has a preference for. Go ahead, Dave.
Either the Neo Gorilla or the security pod.
Okay. The Neo Gorilla, yeah, prehensile. It's essentially what you're in right now. And the security pod is, yeah, those are both attractive options. What about you, Jeff? You have a preference for one of these?
Wow, it's crazy. I was just telling Dave, Kev, it's like playing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time, and you don't know what any of the character classes do, and trying to choose one.
Well, here's an added little wrinkle to it. You guys also are able to customize these. There are options that you can then add to it, just like, you know, adding things to your a vehicle that you're purchasing. Now,
I'm gonna, Kev, I'm actually gonna roll a D10.
Nice.
I'm just gonna go. They're down in order of whatever one I roll.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that the last time that Kyle selected his what do you call these things?
Morphs.
Morphs. The last time he selected his morph, he was in a hurry, and he just needed one, and he didn't really have a choice.
Okay.
Because I can always change it potentially later.
You can absolutely. Also,
Right.
if you die, so long as someone recovers your cortical stack, it can be plugged into a new one.
Right.
You know this from because this is what you grew up with. To be basically uploaded into a biomorph takes 1 hour. To be uploaded into a synth morph takes 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna roll, and number 3. 1, 2, 3. I am a blackbird.
Nice. Okay. And Dave, do you have have you decided on which of the two you want?
Yeah, I'll take the security pod.
Security pod, nice. Okay. Now here's the other thing: is because Cassandra has been at work on this, she's able to customize these for you. So, would you like? Let's see here. You guys can pick 2 of the following: sensory, so a sensor upgrade, stealth upgrade, survival upgrade, techie upgrade, or I think that's it, actually. Sensory, stealth, survival, and techie.
Can you describe them for us?
Sensory will include a number of sense boosts to your morph. Things including enhanced smell, enhanced vision, enhanced hearing, oracles, which are sort of simple AIs that help monitor your sensory input and suggest things that you may have missed, a sense filter, and a T-ray emitter, and something that protects against glare. The stealth will include chameleon skin, enhanced hearing, enhanced vision, grip pads, and what's called skin flex. Skin flex allows you to change your face and your hair. Survival include things like direction sense, enhanced respiration, something called metachines. Metachines are essentially nanobots that are programmed to assist in recovery. Think of like a nano healing factor. Temperature tolerance, you can survive in hotter and colder environments, and toxin filters, something that will filter out poisons, toxins, and nanoplagues. And techie is things like electrical sense, be able to sense and detect electrical activity and electrical currents. Wrist-mounted tools, essentially they are nano tools that will come out of your wrist and form into little arms that can have different different tools, multi-tools essentially on the end that are formed using smart matter. Smart matter is stuff that you can reform into different things, into any tool you can essentially conceive of. A utility tool, something just like that too. Imagine having one device that could turn into any kind of tool that you would need. A fabber, and fabber is something that is a small thing that can. It's essentially something like a imagine a 3D printer or a nano fabricator that can create anything, so long as you have the raw materials you need to supply it. Also, repair spray, something you spray on to damaged either damaged synth or damaged like non-living things, and it is smart smart foam that will repair whatever damage is there using nanotechnology. So, techie, survival, stealth, and sensory. You guys can pick two of those.
Oh, you get two of them?
Yep.
Oh, wow. I'll take techie and I don't think the stealth one does a lot for a blackbird.
You've also already got pretty, like, you've got
good stealth stuff.
Yeah.
So I think survival would make more sense.
Okay. How about for Remy?
Can you run through them again, Kev? I'm not the descriptors, but just the
headers. Yep. Sensory, stealth, survival, and techie.
What was your occupation again, Dave?
spy.
So stealth might make a sense for you.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm gonna go with stealth and techie.
Stealth and techie. Nice.
Cool.
Okay. So, effectively, what these do. Okay, so your let's see, your security pod has. Pod, plus 10 to your somatics, which is the same as what you got from the Neo Gorilla, and you get plus 5 to one other aptitude of your choice. Right now, that plus 5 is in willpower. Do you want to leave it there, or is there another aptitude that you would rather use? You can see on your sheet that which aptitudes apply to which skills. If your aptitude goes up, your skills correspondingly go up as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll let you review that. The only thing I would mention is that if your willpower goes down, your lucidity and your insanity rating and your trauma threshold will all go down as well. The way that, other than the skills, your intuition and your reflexes play into your your initiative as well. Oh, actually, you know what? Your intuition would so either your intuition where your willpower will go down by 5, or you can pick a completely different one, and both of those will go down by 1. For the Blackbird, let's see here. You get, so your somatics would go down, Kyle, by 10, and your intuition would go down unless you boost it, but you get +5 to coordination. So your coordination is a 25 now. You get +5 to your reflexes, which is already included, and then +5 to one other aptitude, and +10 to flight skill, which you don't have, +10 to infiltration, which you do have. So your infiltration is actually a 60 now. You have an armor rating of 2/2, and you've got a beak attack, or beak or claw attack that will do 1d10 +1 damage, and -1 armor piercing. Also, because you are small, there is a penalty to hit you. I'll tell you what that is in a sec here.
Kev, I don't know exactly how all of these different aptitudes matter. Do you have one that you would suggest that Kyle would boost?
Reflexes relate to your skills like fray. Well, let me ask this. What do you think? So knowing how you are, sort of as you're picturing Kyle as he's coming together, what would be something that would be important for him? What would be something that he would be, is he a straight up, kind of fight type guy? Is he a, more of a cerebral kind of, duplicitous type?
He puts himself in danger. He likes the adrenaline rush.
Okay. Then it may be worth leaving it in hold on. Did you already get from reflexes? You already got from reflexes. So intuition boosts his initiative, and his perception. So that wouldn't be that would be a helpful thing. Savvy is like dealing with other people. He's got a fair amount of savvy related skills like deception, persuasion. Persuasion and deception he's awesome at already. So if you boost his savvy, that goes up by another 5. But it's really, it's whatever you sort of feel is the most important thing for him. There's
do any of them
choice here?
Do any of them increase your toughness?
No, your wound threshold and your durability is sort of set as is. So
okay.
Incidentally, your wound threshold is lower. It's a 5, and your durability is a 25. So you're more the Blackbird is more fragile than the Neo Gorilla.
Is there anything that increases your insanity rating or whatever that is?
Yes, actually, your willpower does.
Okay.
So if you plunked your 5 into willpower, your trauma threshold would go up, your lucidity would go up, and your insanity rating would go up.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So we'll dump your intuition goes down by 5. So I'm just going to star the skills. Okay, and let's see here. Your lucidity would become a 40. It's 2 times your willpower. That's a 40. Your trauma threshold becomes an 8 because it's 5. Your lucidity divided by 5, and your insanity rating is 2 times your lucidity, so it would be an 80.
Cool.
You also have enhanced vision, which means you can see into all the different spectrums. You've got invisibility, which I believe is exactly what it sounds like. Let's see here. Where is it? I know what chameleon skin does, but I honestly don't know what bonus invisibility gives me. Let's see here. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at the wrong spot. Dave, have you figured out which aptitude you want to raise?
Yeah, I'm going to switch to switch my +5 to cognition.
Cognition, sweet. Okay, so Kyle, your cognition is now a 15. Your reflexes go down by 5, which means your initiative is down by 1. So your initiative is now a 9. Actually, and oh, sorry, no, that's the wrong guy.
Yeah, I thought it was coming off my willpower.
Yeah, sorry about that. So your willpower is a 20, which means your trauma threshold is an 8. Your lucidity is a 40, and your insanity rating is an 80. Your cognition goes up by 5, so it's a 15, which means all your cognition skills are now 5 higher, which is pretty good. It's a lot of cognition skills. And when you sleeve into these things, okay, so I'm trying to find the cybernetic rules for Cynical Secret. You know, it's funny. I know you didn't choose it, Jeff, but I actually kind of thought that the Blackbird would be the one you would go with.
Yeah, that's funny. I was considering it. I liked a lot of them, so it was a really hard choice.
Mm-hmm. And Dave, I'm very glad that Neo Gorilla was one of the ones that you were considering, because I cannot tell you how much I love that one.
Yeah, you know what? It was really a toss-up, actually.
Yeah.
And that one I actually was interested in too. It kind of fits, I think, with the Thrill Seeker.
Oh, totally.
Kyle as well. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's not out of the question of trying out some other morphs.
Okay, here you go. Okay, so invisibility. It makes you invisible to the microwave and ultraviolet wavelengths and everything in between. So basically, the only thing that can really detect you when your invisibility is active is radar.
Oh, cool.
And terahertz, so any T-vision, they can see you as well. Okay, so here's what it is. Shells. So shells with this enhancement. So neat. Okay, so your while that is active, you cannot see out. You're effectively blinded, but you can so you can use the sensors from that you can activate with your mesh network. You can see using other things. In this setting, sensors. This is what's called a panopticon. There is sensors everywhere. This is a ubiquitous surveillance setting. This is the near future where sensors are everywhere. So you can basically access those, and most of them are public use, which means you can freely use them and freely access them. Because of that, you can basically use those things to navigate yourself.
Awesome.
Visibility reduced signature is 1.9. Whoa. And because of your reduced signature, minus 30 to detect you with radar or terahertz frequencies.
Oh, so the two things that can see you are not very good at it.
Exactly. So you're invisible when you activate the cloak. You're invisible to most visible spectrums, and then just by virtue of your the build of your morph, it's very difficult to detect you using terahertz or using radar.
Right. You're built like a stealth plane.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. It's like a super advanced version of the stealth plane. So that's what your abilities are, and you can fly. Obviously, you can fly at 8 or 40. So actually, a lot faster than about twice the speed of what things on land can. And the security pod at base, adrenal boost is okay. You see how you guys have that speed attribute? You guys both have it at 1.
Okay.
Okay. So, this doesn't do what I thought. What this does is when you activate it, Dave, when you activate your adrenal boost, you get a concentrated burst of basically a drug that accelerates your heart rate and blood flow. In game terms, you can ignore 1 wound. And you gain a temporary plus 10 to your reflexes, as well as reflexes-linked skills and initiative.
Nice.
So, yeah, and then what else? Basic biomods, basic mesh inserts, bioweave armor. So your armor is that's light, right? Yeah, light bioweave armor gives you an armor rating of 2/3. So 2 versus energy, 3 versus kinetics. You have claws, which are retractable, and the claws do. Oh, quiet you. Uh-oh. 1d10 plus 1 plus your somatic divided by 10. Your somatics are currently, I believe, no, actually, I don't know. Is it a 20? Your somatics are currently a 30. Holy shit. So you do 1d10 plus 4 damage with your claws. And they have an armor piercing of -1. And those can look however you like. They can be out of your hands, they can be out of your knuckles, whatever. Cortical sac, cyber brain. Eelware is what allows you to basically a network of bioconductors in your hands and feet or other limbs allows you to generate stunning shocks. So basically, when you hit someone, they have to make a somatics. I think it's a somatic times 2 check, or they pass out.
Okay.
No, durability plus energy armor test. It's even harder. And you get a T-ray emitter, which is a thing that emits terahertz. So basically, for up to 20 meters, you can see through materials as well using T-vision. Your enhanced vision allows you to see into the infrared, the ultraviolet, the terahertz, the T radiation. So you can see all of that stuff, and you can choose to filter it however you like as well.
Okay.
Okay. And the other 2 things you guys have are the we picked. Let's see here, stealth and techie. So Dave, you also have that chameleon skin. I'm going to type up all this stuff between now and the next session as well. So you'll have all that information on your sheets. And actually, because you know what, I think for those listening at home, we're going to wrap it up right now with this reveal, and then guys, we'll stay on for just a little bit to go through some other stuff here. But for those listening at home, thanks so much for joining us. Apologize for the sort of boring wrap up for the last little bit here. This is more of interest to players than the viewers, but thanks for listening, and we hope to see you again soon.